And welcome to a video for ITHome Custom Software Solutions. This video is intended to give you an idea of what you can do for yourself at home, whether it's for personal use or for your small business. And we have developed three front-end, I call them stub applications, that are ready to go and with minimal configuration to get you up and running. And the idea here is to give you a look at what you can do with these applications. So I have this PowerPoint, and I'm doing it in a PowerPoint because the streaming software doesn't allow me to flip through windows. If there's any interest in a sort of more live type demo, I'll be more than pleased to do that. So let's blow up the PowerPoint a bit more. There we go. Okay, so ITHome Custom Software Solutions, normally considered to be too expensive for the average person or for the small business. But I'm here to give you the idea that no, you can take advantage of having a customized environment and why that is important. So let's just look at some of the just basic ideas. I'm offering three. They are actually spreadsheets. This is done in Microsoft Office. So it's using Excel and programmable Visual Basic. Which makes it very easy to edit, maintain, and develop. So these three applications, there is a daily record-keeping activity. There is a purchase module. Everybody makes purchases. And if you don't record your purchases, then that's lost data. And believe me, your credit card company, your store keeps track of every purchase that you make. So why don't you? And particularly if you have a small business, every purchase is money out of the door. And so you want to track that. And then the third program is one that will analyze your purchases and allow you to make more accurate purchase planning decisions, to track what you've done, to do some reporting, great for tax time. And it's also a way of creating purchase orders. If you do projects and you need to research where you've got all the components that you need for that project, where's the best place to get the best price, you can then research that quite easily with this tool. The other aspect is that these three programs or three stubs have been in development for well over 5 years. I use them personally daily. So a lot of the bugs have been wheeled out of them, but one advantage for me, if that you do decide to use these, is that you'll report to me and say, hey Steve, this didn't work right, can you fix it? And I will fix it and replace it. So getting a larger user community with these applications is great. Now, they are very simple to implement. Basically, it's just a load and you go. There's no additional fees or charges. There's no royalties or licenses. It's freeware. On an ongoing basis, if you are part of the IT community, home community, you'll get free upgrades and you'll be able to communicate with other members as to how they're maybe developing these tools. You can also, if you decide to go further with these, you may want to, and you probably will, want to add features or make changes and make them more your own. And that's really the fun part of it. You can do it yourself or you can do it with our assistance. So we want to share the ideas, make improvements, and as the technology improves, as the applications improve, you'll get those benefits. So let's talk about program one. The first program is what I would call your daily records. And it's one screen that captures all of your data. And it captures personal information, such as your health information, collects diet information, what you eat, and it's all based on the Food and Drug Administration's data table, which is free. So the data used to create this application is free. It's open source, so there's no royalties associated there. And again, it's easy to use. It's all on one screen, fast processing, and you do need to initialize every day that you use it so that it knows when the day ends. And this takes less than a minute. It's basically one click and boom, you're on to the next day. So there's no month-end calculations. There's nothing to do. It's just every morning when you start up fresh, just click start, boom, and away you go. And again, the idea here is that there's information about you, about your diet, about your health, that if you don't record it, if you don't journalize it, you lose it. And if you ever need to have a legal document that says, at this particular time, this was my state, this is what I ate, this is how, blah, 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 all that details, you have it. And it is considered a legal document because it's date and time stamped, okay? I know of situations where people have wanted to make a claim, say for insurance, and if they didn't have a journal, then it gets a bit hard to say when your health changed or when there was an issue. Very, very important. So let's take a look at it. The one screen, the key screen here for the daily activities, it looks kind of busy, but if we zoom in at the top, let's just go to the top here. Here's that top strand, and there's really on the left-hand side, you'll see there's only 4 buttons. Here they are here, of which only 2 of them are really key. The first one here, new day. So at the beginning of the day, you click that, and all it does is basically takes a snapshot, saves it, and summarizes some data. It takes about a minute, and boom, everything's cleared. You're ready to start your day again. And the other button that is kind of important is your programs button. There's one in particular that we've set up, which takes you to the other application called Purchases, and I'll talk about it later. In the middle, you'll see this little graph showing your daily activities. On the right here, you'll see there are a number of applications, and only one is really key. It's the top one here, when you need to search for a food item. Okay, so let's look at the other part of the screen. On the bottom half of the screen, you'll see up here there's your health information, so you can have your activities. I have 3 put down here, but you could have 1, 2, 4, 5, as many as you want. But most people have something that they do, and these items are researchable. You can just go online, and there's documents to tell you how many calories per minute you burn. So the quantity here is all you change. You just enter the number of minutes that you were walking or doing Tai Chi or meditate, whatever it is that you have here as an activity. That's it, and everything else is done for you. On the bottom line here, you'll see a number of cells, and these I don't fill out every day, but I do periodically. I measure my ketones, I measure my glucose, I might check my O2 level, I might check my heart rate, and in the center you'll see something that says, basically a statement, how do I feel? And this is important. This is your journal entry. Are you okay today? Then you will know when you stopped being okay. Very important. You put something in here to indicate your overall status. And I give it a rating. I have a 5 here saying I feel great, so no big changes there. I do track my temperature, and I do track my weight. And then I do intermittent fasting. You may not, but I do. So when I'm ready to start my fast, I just click the timer button here, and it will start keeping track of when I started my fast. And it just makes it simple. Okay, you can see here that I did the previous day a 19-hour between meal fast. And then finally on the end, there's an optional field which when I make a major change here, I usually update this. Now all I have to do is double click it. Then you see down here your detail records. These are easy to maintain, and you'll notice here these are food items here. So I have some of them are self-configured, and I can explain that at some point, that if the item isn't in the USDA food database, you can create your own very easily, okay? And then once you selected your item, and you do this by just double-clicking the field, all you need to do is enter in your quantity, and quantities here are in grams. That is the standard method. So you enter in the number of grams you had for breakfast, for your coffee cream, whatever it is you had, and it will calculate out the number of calories. But not just the number of calories, it tracks everything. There's about 50 different nutritional components. Now you look up here and you see this thing that says facts sheet. So after you've entered in some information, either for the whole day or whatever, or in one particular case, you might be tracking a particular recipe. So you may want to know, well, what's in that recipe? Or if you're preparing a meal for someone else and you want to give them a printout of this is the nutrition in this particular meal. So you enter in all or some of these fields. And if you click the fact sheet, okay, see fact sheet there, this is what you'll get. You'll get a standardized form that shows you the calories, shows you the fats, shows you the cholesterol, shows you the carbohydrates, the fiber, sugar, all of the standard nutritional components for the items you entered. Okay, so this is a snapshot of whatever you entered in to that daily record database. Okay, it could be a whole day's worth of food, it could be just one item, it could be whatever. So when you do that, you'll notice here there's a print button, but there's also a more button. If you click the more button, what you'll get is all of the items that are in the database for that particular food item or group of items, and it summarizes it here. You can see the name of the nutrient, what the recommended daily allowance is. That's editable. You can change that if you want, but it's pretty standard, these recommended RDA values. Then on the right you'll see current. This is the calculated nutritional value. So I was wondering, well, how accurate is this? So what I did was I went online and I compared it with Google. I said, Google, my computer says for white homemade bread, this is the nutritional value. And then Google told me, and you can see they're pretty identical. There is a couple of differences, but I think that may be just in the recipe, but overall. Then I compared cheddar cheese. And you can see what Google said for number of calories per 100 grams of cheddar cheese are pretty much bang on. It's a few calories difference. Fats are pretty much the same. Saturated are pretty much the same. Number of carbohydrates a little bit different. Again, that could be on the type of cheese, but basically it's pretty close. Okay, so this is very important to know, is that the data, the nutritional data produced from this is pretty accurate. Okay, there is an option, there's a tab you can go to if you want to do a more dig down. You can see here I have about 8 years of data in here, daily records. So I can put in a start date, end date, and I can put in whatever interval, whether I want it on a daily, monthly, weekly, whatever. And you can see here the graph it produces for any of those nutritional items. And again, there's over 50 of them that you can graph out. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I had a health issue, and I really didn't know what was going on. And I was able to track it down to particular nutrients that I was getting too much of. In this case, it was carbohydrates and fats. So I was able to go on my database and look at that and track whether or not I was doing and correlate it to when I wasn't feeling well to when I was. Okay, so that is the daily record keeping. Again, this is a snapshot of the USD database. Oh, a little point here. I don't modify this, so if there was a new database that came out, I could just very simply just replace it, and with very minimal adjustment to the program. So the program has not modified this standard data. It's actually a comma separated file that you can download. So this can be updated whenever. Okay, let's look at program 2. Program 2 is where we track purchases. And again, why is this important? Well, you have suppliers and you have items that you need to purchase. You need to keep track of both. Now, on a personal home basis, this is important for just keeping a good budget. But if you're running a small business, you're going to want to know your suppliers. You're going to want to know what items you purchase, and you want to compare them and to be able to analyze them. So this is a one-screen program. It's fast, and it stores the names of the suppliers and the names of the items accurately, so that it controls that. And this is important for reporting later. Okay, so let's take a look at it. On your daily record screen, there's the item programs. If you click it, you'll get a list of programs, and you could then pick the purchases, or you could just click the purchases button. And what will happen is that this screen will come up. Again, one screen, very simple, and you can see here on the top, there's the item you want to input. There's the detail about that item. You can clear it, or you can pick your store. So if you click the input store button, you'll get a list of stores that you can pick. In this case, I picked Superstore. And then on the items, if you click item, you'll get a list of items, and you just pick the item that you want to input. You then, okay, this is the full database. If you wanted to go through at any time, you could view the whole folder and edit any item. Okay, so you picked an item, and you then click add, and it puts it in this bottom window. This is what is called a batch purchase. So you see the list of items. As you click add and add different items in there, you'll get a total for that batch. Now, this is important because when you do a purchase order, or when you go to a grocery store, you come back with a receipt that has a list of all of your items. So this is kind of simulating that. So it's the list of items that you purchased at that time, okay, at that store. And so it's flagged by the date, so you can go back and say, what did I purchase at that from that supplier on that date, and then look at it. So once you have that order in here, and if you're satisfied with it, again, you can, if you made a boo-boo, you can because it's in a batch, you can double-click any item and edit it if the price is wrong or the quantity is wrong. Okay. Once you're satisfied, you click commit, and that stores that purchase into the system, and then you can go on and do your next one. And that's it for your purchases. So very quick, very simple, again, all on one screen. But then the magic comes in program 3 when you want to analyze all of this data. So the third program, Analyze and Reporting, it searches all of your previous purchases and matches it up with your suppliers. And it allows you to research and find what's the best supplier for that product based on my purchasing behavior. Okay, it's easy to use, again, all on one screen. Now there are some pop-up windows that when you click you'll go into deeper windows, but the bulk of the application is all on one screen. Everything runs very quick, easy to maintain, and you can do what ifs and graphs. So this is a little bit more detail on that level, and I'll show you here. So the main screen, again, looks a bit busy, but it's not that bad. You, on the upper left here, you key in the name of the item, and if you double click it, you'll get a query saying, is this the item? If you key in apples, and if you have different type of apples, it will allow you to pick the specific item that you're looking for. So a double click here will verify what it is you're looking for. In this case, I have 3 items. So this could be considered a purchase request or a purchase query. So I'm looking for all of the times I purchased these items and what was the best price I got for it. So I can run the report on this, and what I get is a listing showing all of the times I purchased any of those items. You say, okay, that's interesting. Well, you can then look at the overall cost for that item as a batch. You can look at the stores, the suppliers. But if you click the year button, okay, here, oops, this is a listing of the items. You can see here, it gives you the average cost per unit, and here's the stores. If you click on the years, what you'll get is a breakdown of the years. Now, this database I have is optional. You can keep the data if you want. I'm willing to give it away, but it's purchase data. So if it's items that you purchase, in my case it's food, you can compare it and it can be a value. If not, you can just build your own. In any event, in my case, it goes back to 2019, 2016. And you can look at the change in prices. So if I click the graphs button, I will get graphs on that, and there's a number of different graphs. In this particular graph, it's showing the change in the average cost for all of those items. So this is the summary of all the times I wanted to purchase those items over the years. How much did it cost on average to get that purchase? So think of a purchase of a group of items. Now you can run this for one item, and I do this quite often if I want to look at, how has the price of cheese changed. But quite often you're buying a group of things, okay? If I wanted to drill down for those types of orders, this is a drill down screen. I'm not going to go into it in any great detail, but it tracks every supplier by those groups of items for all the years that you have it tracked. So this is a drill down. This could be very important if money is very important to know where the best place to buy things over time. And how I've recently used this is that I wanted to know if I was actually saving money by going to Costco. So here I was able to track in great detail whether or not I was actually saving money and whatnot. So when you come back to that main screen and you click on reports and you want to graph things, so here a listing of some of the graphs. I've recently added some more, but there's a series of graphs. Adding graphs is no big deal. If you wanted a graph added, I can add one, no problem. And there's 2 types of graphs. One is your basic purchase by month, and then the other is a more purchase by store. So you want to analyze a particular store. Okay. You hit the point and you say, okay, I've decided that this is where I want to buy my walnuts and my eggs and my cheese. And I picked a particular supplier, and here I'm going to go to Costco to get this. And back on that main screen, you can say, well, which supplier do you want to get your items from? And it gives you your purchase order. You can print it out. The look of this order is totally customizable. Can be easily customized, and you can have your logo on there, whatever. And you could put your PO number on there, and then boom, you could print it out as a PDF and then fax that or email it to whomever you want. Here's another example of some of the graphs. This is again by the batch. So you can see this contains apples, grapes, milk, beef, and chicken. All the times I went to buy that. And this is the number of times I went to buy those types of items. And then other graphs can show you the cost and the average cost per unit. Well, those are the three programs, and I wanted to share that with you to give you an idea of what you can do with these systems. I might, if there's interest, do a real-time run of some of these programs. But for now, I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. Those are the three programs, easy to implement, and they're free for members of the IT community.